Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into the extraordinary life of Adriaan Van Landschoot.
Yeah, quite a character.
Absolutely. Our sources, they describe him as a wonder boy, in both fashion and music. A hugely successful businessman, too.
And a rebel. Don't forget rebel.
No, definitely a rebel. And even an architect of Flemish music. I mean, how does one person manage to wear all those hats?
It's quite the mix, isn't it?
He consistently challenged the status quo, just paving new paths wherever he went. Okay, let's unpack this.
What's truly fascinating here is how our collection of sources, and we've got excerpts from biographical texts, some really insightful newspaper articles from Het Nieuwsblad, Taptoe as well, covering his life, and sadly, his passing. They collectively paint this really vivid picture, a picture of a relentless entrepreneur. I mean, this was a visionary, someone who was never afraid to challenge conventional wisdom.
Right.
And a figure who, well, he left an indelible mark on the entertainment industry, particularly here in Belgium.
No question.
So our mission today, really, is to trace this remarkable journey. It started from surprisingly humble roots, actually. And in doing that, we hope to reveal some profound insights into resilience, the sheer power of having a clear vision and maybe the unexpected ways one person can shape an entire cultural landscape.
So the central question for you, our listener, is really this. How did one man, starting with so little, really very little, manage to become such a powerful force in an entire industry, often behind the scenes, too?
Yeah, that's key. He wasn't always front and center.
And how did he push the boundaries so far? To the point of launching a pirate radio station. It's just wow.
Pretty audacious stuff.
So this deep dive, it isn't just going to be a chronological account. Think of it more as a shortcut to truly understanding his unique and lasting impact. We want to offer those surprising nuggets of knowledge, the things that reveal the why behind his audacious life.
Exactly, the context behind the headlines.
Let's begin right at the very beginning, then. Let's trace Adriaan's roots. And it's quite remarkable, actually, how humble his origins were, especially when you consider the immense influence he would later wield.
Absolutely, not born with a silver spoon by any means.
No. He was born Maurits Urban Joseph Van Landschoot, that was his full name, on Saturday, April 24th, 1948, in Adegem, which is, well, a quiet municipality in the Belgian province of East Flanders.
Rural setting.
He was the eldest of 5 children. His parents were Maurits Urban Joseph Van Landschoot, same name as his father, and Germaine Longueville. They'd married back in November 1946.
And his father, what did he do?
His father was a cooper, a barrel maker, and also a wood merchant. That detail alone, I think, gives us a glimpse into a very practical, industrious, probably a very hands-on working environment.
Yeah, skilled trade, hard work.
Definitely. And he grew up alongside his siblings, Imelda, Gilbert, Anita, and Maria, a family of 5 kids.
Right, a full house.
As for his education, well, our sources tell us he attended St. Vincentius College in Eeklo, which is a well-regarded institution, and later the Erasmus Institute.
Okay.
And one source, interestingly, specifies that this was actually a textile institute in Ghent, which is, well, it's a crucial detail, isn't it, given his very first real step into the professional world.
Ah, the textile connection.
That makes sense. Exactly. His initial job was as an accountant at a company called Textilia, a textile company located in Warshu.
Numbers first.
Numbers first. And it was there, the sources say, that he first felt the business itch. It's quite a conventional starting point, really, for someone who would go on to lead such an unconventional career.
Totally. Breaking norms, challenging establishments.
Yeah.
That all came later.
Yeah. This seemingly mundane entry into the world of numbers and fabrics, well, in hindsight, it was the fertile ground where his entrepreneurial spirit really began to sprout.
If we connect this early background to the bigger picture, it becomes, well, pretty clear how this exposure to the world of textiles and accounting, even though it seems like a different field, it likely sharpened his innate entrepreneurial instincts.
Learning the ropes.
Exactly. And remember the time, this is a post-war Reconstruction era, a time when practical skills, resourcefulness, a keen sense for commerce, these things were highly valued. People were rebuilding.
Right. Opportunities were there if you looked.
Opportunities were maybe not immediately obvious, but they were definitely plentiful for those with the foresight to see them. And he clearly had that.
He did.
Our sources also point to something deeper, though, almost like a philosophical root for his driven nature. It's symbolized by this remarkably specific, almost quirky anecdote. The nail.
The nail. Tell me about the nail.
Right. So his father apparently imparted this piece of wisdom to him. Zorg dat je tenminste een nagel hebt om aan elkaar te krabben, which, roughly translates to make sure you at least have a nail to scratch your backside.
Okay. Very practical advice.
Very practical. But it's not just some quaint regional saying. It really encapsulates a fundamental approach to life. Always ensure you have something basic, a foundation, some security, no matter how small.
Self-reliance.
Exactly. Self-reliance, preparedness. And what's really telling, what makes this more than just a story, is that this literal nagel, a specific nail, it physically moved with him.
Oh, wait.
Yes. He was always hanging above his desk through all his various homes and offices. It became this tangible symbol of that philosophy. Self-sufficiency, basic security.
Wow.
This foundational belief, it probably underpinned all his ventures. It likely gave him the courage, to take those enormous risks later on. He knew he always had that minimum nail to fall back on.
Like a talisman.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
A constant reminder of his roots, his drive to build something from, well, basically nothing.
It's fascinating how such a small, concrete detail can hold such profound meaning. And it was from this bedrock of practical security and that budding entrepreneurial spirit that we see his first major public success emerge. Carnaby.
Ah, yes. Carnaby.
Imagine this. He's just 25 years old. It's 1973. He strikes out as an independent entrepreneur. And his starting capital, get this, a mere 32,000 Belgian francs. Which translates today to a paltry 800 euros.
800 euros. That's it.
That's it. Think about that for a moment. Starting with so little, he rapidly built a chain of no less than 14 highly successful clothing boutiques across Flanders, all under the name Carnaby.
14 shops from 800 euros. That's incredible growth.
Incredible. And at its peak, Carnaby was a real force to be reckoned with. It had over 200 employees. He even had his own sewing workshop.
Making their own stuff?
Yeah, producing those incredibly sought-after teenager blouses. That was a key product. Spoke directly to his target market. This wasn't some small-town operation. It was a burgeoning empire built on a really astute understanding of what people wanted.
Knew his audience.
The chain was eventually sold, mid-1990s, marked the end of that chapter. But its rapid ascent from such humble beginnings, well, it's truly impressive for someone who started out as an accountant just a few years before.
This success with Carnaby, it really raises an important question, doesn't it? How did he manage to spot these emerging trends so effectively and capitalize on them so quickly?
Right. It wasn't just luck.
No. Carnaby was far from a lucky break.
Yeah.
It was, I think, a brilliantly executed response to the whole nascent phenomenon of teenagers. Their growing desire for a distinct cultural identity.
Yeah, the 70s. A whole new youth culture emerging.
Exactly. This new generation wasn't just looking for clothes. They were seeking a specific lifestyle, their own music, their own hangouts, often, to the dismay of their parents, who probably still clung to more conservative styles and tastes.
Yeah, the generation gap.
Adriaan Van Landschoot just intuitively grasped this generational shift. He understood these young people wanted more than just garments. They wanted an identity. Carnaby provided precisely that. Clothing that reflected their sort of rebellious spirit, their yearning for individuality, a far cry from what mom and dad wore. And the fact that during his next big adventure, the Radio Atlantis era, Carnaby was apparently generating profits up to 400%.
400%.
Yeah. It just underscores his acute business acumen, his unparalleled ability to read and, frankly, exploit market trends. It wasn't just selling clothes, it was selling a whole lifestyle. And this sharp understanding of youth culture, of market demand. It wasn't entirely new for him. His own early foray into music, as you mentioned, probably gives us a strong clue how he developed this sensitive ear for what the youth really desired.
Right.
He wasn't just a businessman, he was also a musician at heart, wasn't he? And that blend, well, it turned out to be incredibly powerful.
That's absolutely right. Beyond that undeniable business flair, he certainly possessed a musical side. And it emerged quite early on.
Yeah, you say he was in a band.
He was. At the tender age of 13, he was already a guitarist in the Murkies. They were a locally known band from his region. And that white guitar of his, our sources note it would later reappear in his own recordings.
Oh, cool detail.
Yeah, a personal touch linking his early passion to his later professional work. It's clear music was a deep-seated passion for him from a very young age.
But he didn't stick with performing, did he?
No, and that's what's particularly intriguing. He stepped away from performing on stage quite early in his career. He wasn't, it seems, captivated by the spotlight itself.
More interested in the background stuff.
Exactly. He was far more intrigued by what happened in, behind, and around the scenes. This early curiosity, it just perfectly foreshadows his future role as a producer and architect behind the curtain.
Where he'd launch and shape careers.
Precisely. Launching and shaping the careers of countless others rather than pursuing fame for himself. It was this deep fascination with the mechanics, the logistics, the strategy of the music industry that would ultimately lead him to his next and maybe his most daring project.
Laying the groundwork.
Yeah, he was laying the groundwork even back then for his role as a true impresario, pulling the strings, orchestrating success from the shadows.
And here's where it gets really interesting, as you say.
Right. That burgeoning fascination with what happened behind the scenes, combined with his razor-sharp business sense, well, it directly led to his most audacious idea yet.
Okay.
He discovered that advertising for his Carnaby Shops via the popular youth radio stations at the time.
Yep.
Stations like the Dutch one, Veronica, and the English ones, Radio Caroline or Radio North Sea. It was just prohibitively expensive.
The cost factor.
Yeah. While he did manage to strike some deals to occasionally plug his own records, he found the whole thing financially unsustainable. The cost just didn't align with his business model.
Okay, makes sense.
So this was the direct catalyst for his bold, almost defiant decision. If advertising on existing stations was too expensive, well, he would simply start his own radio station.
Just like that. I'll start my own station.
Pretty much. This wasn't just a business move. It felt like a declaration of independence. A clear sign of that rebellious spirit and his conviction that, yeah, he could do things better and definitely on his own terms.
To really grasp the audacity of that decision, Adriaan's decision, we need to understand the context. The whole volatile world of pirate radio in the 1970s.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly legal, was it?
Not at all. These stations were the brainchild of daring entrepreneurs, mostly from England and the Netherlands. And they operated from international waters, usually on ships. Why? Because national governments, like Belgium's, maintained strict radio monopolies and legally banned these independent stations.
Right. State control.
Exactly. And at the time, national broadcasters often just ignored the burgeoning pop music scene. They left this massive void in the market and a hungry youth audience desperate for the sounds of their generation.
So the pirates filled that gap.
Precisely. But it was exactly this forbidden fruit status that made these stations so incredibly attractive to young people. They weren't just playing music, they were offering an alternative culture, a sense of rebellion against the staid norms of the established media.
They were cool.
They were cool, they were edgy, and they spoke directly to a generation eager for change. And Adriaan Van Landschoot, remarkably, was the very first Fleming to undertake such a daring and, let's be frank, illegal venture.
The first one from Flanders?
Yeah.
Wow.
He wasn't just seeing a market gap, he was seeing a cultural movement waiting to explode. He dreamt of his own radio station on a ship in international waters. And with that characteristic fearlessness, he just went and made that dream a tangible, if legally very precarious, reality.
It wasn't just business then.
No, this wasn't just about business. It was about giving a voice to a generation and, shaking up the whole media landscape.
That sheer audacity is truly impressive. He didn't just dip his toe in the water, did he? He plunged headfirst.
Seems like his style.
Totally. Initially, she leased airtime. He did this alongside a collaborator, a guy named Antoine Demure, who would later become widely known as DJ Tony Houston.
Ah, Tony Houston.
Yeah.
Famous name.
Yeah, they leased time on the MV Migo, which was Radio Caroline's transmitter ship. This was just for a 3-month period initially.
Mm-hmm. Why Caroline's ship?
Well, Caroline at the time was facing pretty significant financial difficulties. So Adriaan's monthly rental fee, which was about £15,000, was actually a welcome lifeline for them.
Ah, mutually beneficial.
Exactly. The broadcasts for Radio Atlantis, that was the name he fittingly chose, inspired by a hit song by The Shadows, they officially commenced at midday, July 15th, 1973.
Okay, Atlantis is born, but where did they make the shows?
Good question. The programs themselves, they were pre-recorded in studios located in Oostburg, which is just across the border in the Netherlands.
Why the Netherlands?
That was a crucial logistical workaround. It was necessitated by Belgian law. Belgium had strictly ratified the Strasbourg Treaty, which basically made it illegal for Belgian citizens to work on or even supply these offshore broadcasting ships.
Right, the authorities were cracking down.
Severely. The Belgian judicial authorities were already coming down hard on any unauthorized independent broadcasters. So by producing the content in the Netherlands, Adriaan cleverly navigated or at least tried to circumvent the most immediate legal hurdles back home.
Smart thinking. Strategic.
It was a testament to his strategic thinking, absolutely, and his willingness to go to extraordinary lengths to make his vision happen.
And the launch itself, how did that go?
The launch was, well, it was a masterclass in guerrilla publicity. Van Landschoot gathered the entire Flemish press corps at De Villeval, a festive hall in Adegem, to witness the very first broadcast.
Bold move. What did the press think?
Our sources paint a picture of, frankly, skepticism. None of the journalists really believed this audacious stunt would actually come off.
I can imagine.
But then, the moment the first sounds of Radio Atlantis crackled from the ship and hit the airwaves, they all, apparently incredulous, rushed out to their cars to tune in. They had to verify if the station, broadcasting on 210 meters medium wave, was actually on air.
And was it?
It was. The story was true. The station was broadcasting, and the result? Monster publicity in the press. An almost unbelievable amount of free exposure that, money just couldn't buy.
Wow. Instant fame.
Totally. The public followed suit immediately. And in no time, Atlantis became an overnight sensation among Flemish youth. It rapidly attracted an astonishing 5 million listeners.
5 million? That quickly?
That quickly. It wasn't just a hit. It became a cultural phenomenon. And crucially, it did far more than just play international chart toppers. It actively promoted and championed Flemish artists.
Supporting local talent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Artists like Paul Sievers, Marva, Wiltura, Willie Summers, Jimmy Frey, many of whom were pretty much systematically ignored by the conservative national broadcasters at the time.
So Atlantis gave them a platform.
It really did. Radio Atlantis wasn't just a radio station. It was a platform, a voice, and a launch pad for local talent that the establishment basically refused to acknowledge.
The pirate appeal you mentioned earlier, it was undeniably potent, wasn't it? Incredibly effective. That whole forbidden fruit aspect just made it immensely popular with the youth searching for something fresh, exciting, rebellious. It really tapped into a deep vein of desire for autonomy, for self-expression.
Yeah, kids loved it.
And the DJs like Tony Houston and Eli Prince, who really cut their teeth on Atlantis, they rapidly transformed from just voices on the radio into real celebrities.
Right, they became stars in their own right.
Absolutely. Highly sought-after performers in discotheques and dance halls all across the country. Their newfound fame just extended the reach and the whole mystique of Atlantis far beyond the actual airwaves. This phenomenon, it just strikingly demonstrated Van Landschoot's uncanny ability. His ability to identify that glaring market, void the overwhelming demand for youth-oriented pop music and culture, and then crucially to fill it. How? By ingeniously leveraging the rebellious spirit of the era.
He just got youth culture.
He really did, with an intuitive grasp that completely eluded the established media. And he knew precisely how to speak directly to that demographic. He didn't just identify a gap in the market. He basically ignited a movement around it. He was a master at cultivating a brand that wasn't just about sound, but about identity. And that resonated deeply with millions.
But as with any grand adventure, there were bound to be challenges, right? It couldn't all be smooth sailing. Pardon the pun.
Hey, right. Challenges inevitably arose. On October 18th, 1973, disaster struck. The Mickey Mouse transmission mast of the broadcast ship, the MV Miami Umina, it actually snapped off during a severe storm.
Oh, wow. Mast broke.
Snapped right off. This catastrophic event knocked both Radio Caroline and Radio Atlantis off the air instantly.
So, end of the line for that show.
Pretty much. Consequently, the rental contract with Caroline was, quite logically, not renewed. However, Van Landschoot, well, he'd successfully achieved his goals for his summer collection, right? And he was buoyed by the immense publicity Atlantis had generated.
So he wasn't giving up?
Not a chance. He was already plotting his next move, one aimed at achieving even greater security and control. His ambition wasn't dampened, it was just redirected. He was already planning to launch his own ship.
His own ship?
Yes, and do so as quickly as possible, aiming to coincide with his winter collection hitting the Carnaby stores.
Wow. Okay, so what happened next?
With characteristic speed and decisiveness, he purchased a ship called the Condor at the end of October 1973, almost immediately after that storm incident.
Didn't waste any time.
Nope. And then, in a really deeply personal gesture, he renamed it the MV Janine, after his beloved wife.
Janine. It's lovely.
It really was. It wasn't just a business decision. It felt like a public acknowledgement of her unwavering support, a symbolic act of dedication that underscored the personal investment he had in this incredibly risky venture. The ship was then transported to Germany. There, it was extensively refitted with state-of-the-art studios and all the necessary equipment to become a fully operational offshore radio station.
A floating studio.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
On December 22, 1973, the MV Jeanine arrived at its new anchorage, precisely 12 miles off the coast of Knock, safely outside Belgian territorial waters.
Back in business.
Almost. The very first test broadcast commenced on December 23, 1973, just in time for Christmas. After overcoming a few initial technical glitches, Atlantis broadcast uninterruptedly until August 31, 1974.
So how did the programming work on the new ship?
During the daytime, the programming featured Flemish-language shows. These were meticulously pre-recorded on tape back in Oostburg in the Netherlands.
Still recording in the Netherlands, then.
Still had to. Then these tapes were delivered out to the ship by a tender boat, which also carried the duty crew. The crew would then broadcast these tapes, maintaining that consistent sound for their massive Flemish audience.
And at night?
After 7 p.m., the station transitioned. It became the international service, featuring English DJs broadcasting live directly from the ship.
Ah, so live English shows, recorded Flemish shows.
Exactly. This dual programming allowed Atlantis to cater to a broader audience and really maximize its reach.
And did it still have that power to make hits?
Oh, absolutely. Atlantis also developed a keen talent for making hits, simply by plugging songs almost hourly, just relentless promotion.
Any examples?
The most illustrative example is probably the single, Schat, wat kosten zu van jou? Which means, Darling, how much does a kiss from you cost? By the singer Francis. It sold an astonishing 57,000 copies.
57,000?
Yeah, largely thanks to its relentless promotion on Atlantis. This wasn't just radio. It was a powerful hit-making machine.
What's truly fascinating here is just the sheer audacity, isn't it? And the staggering logistical complexity that underpinned this whole operation.
Absolutely.
I mean, imagine you're just 25 years old. You don't just decide to buy your own ship.
Which is crazy enough.
Right. But then you oversee its complete outfitting with fully functional studios, you navigate the legal minefield to get it out to international waters, and then you manage the intricate daily operations.
Everything from food supplies.
Everything. Consistent resupply of food, beverages, regular staff changes via tenders, often in rough North Sea conditions. It was a truly colossal undertaking.
The Tapto article from that period, it aptly described it as world news in the Benelux, which really underscores the unprecedented nature of what he was doing.
Yeah, it must have seemed unbelievable at the time.
It vividly demonstrates the immense level of personal investment and calculated risk Adriaan was willing to undertake for his vision. This wasn't a small gamble. It was an audacious leap of faith.
Driven by,
I think, a compelling blend of commercial necessity. Remember, needing to advertise his shops affordably, and this profound, almost spiritual passion for music, and the desire to create something entirely unique. There's that anecdote about the countdown clock in Anagem Hall, the Villeval, with a visibly stressed Adriaan and his wife, Jeanine. It just paints such a vivid picture of the tension and the sky-high expectations surrounding that pivotal launch moment.
Yeah, everything riding on it.
It wasn't just a business for him. It was his life's passion on the line, and he was pouring absolutely everything into it.
And then, on August 31st, 1974, this remarkable adventure, it just came to an abrupt end.
Just like that, what happened?
The reason was a decisive legal shift. The Netherlands had finally converted the Strasbourg Treaty into their national law, and the effective date was September 1st, 1974.
Closing the loophole.
Exactly. This meant that all broadcasting activities from offshore vessels, and crucially, any supply operations to them, became explicitly punishable by Dutch law. With no legal avenue left to sustain operations, Radio Atlantis had no choice but to cease broadcasting.
End of an era.
Truly. The MV Jeanine was subsequently towed into Vlissingen Harbor in the Netherlands and immediately impounded. Seized. Shortly thereafter, Van Landschoot found himself formally charged by Belgian justice for his activities with the offshore station. The investigation was led by examining magistrate Jaspers, who later became notable in a famous murder case, interestingly.
So legal trouble back home.
Big time.
Yeah.
Ultimately, in December 1974, the court in Ghent convicted him. He was sentenced to a substantial fine, 1.5 million Belgian francs. That translates to roughly 37,500 today.
Ouch. Did he pay it all?
He paid half. The other half was actually pardoned by the king. He also got a 3-month suspended prison sentence.
Okay, so avoided jail time. What about the ship?
The MV Jeanine, sadly, was eventually sold at public auction and subsequently scrapped. An ignominious end for a ship that had briefly carried the hopes and sounds of a generation.
Wow. scrapped.
The entire affair, from start to finish, cost him at least 2.8 million Belgian francs, or a staggering $70,000 in today's money. It was a significant financial blow. I mean, that represented a fortune back then.
This dramatic ending, though, it raises an important question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How did this experience, despite the considerable financial loss and the legal trouble, actually shape his future? Did it make him more cautious? Or
more driven?
Exactly. Because despite that significant setback and the undeniable monetary cost, and remember, $70,000 was an enormous sum in the 1970s, paradoxically. The whole affair also brought him, as the sources say, a multiple of fame and publicity.
A publicity angle again.
Yeah. Publicity for his Carnaby stores, for his wholesale business, and for his nascent record labels.
So it wasn't all loss.
Not in his eyes, perhaps. This entire saga powerfully underscored his deeply held conviction that money is a bad motivation.
Interesting philosophy.
For Adriaan, what truly mattered was drive, that collective commitment to wanting to go for it together, and crucially, daring to take risks. This philosophy explains his incredible resilience, his continuous pursuit of new projects, even after enduring such severe setbacks.
So the money lost on Atlantis wasn't the main point for him.
It seems the financial profit from Atlantis was not the primary objective. Instead, it was the immense publicity it generated, the proof of concept that he could capture a massive audience, and the powerful confirmation of his own core philosophy. He understood that this newfound notoriety, this widespread recognition of his rebellious spirit and entrepreneurial flair, well, it would open doors for his next adventures. Maybe less illegal, but certainly just as ambitious.
A calculated loss, almost.
If you could see it that way. A calculated loss that yielded an invaluable asset, an unshakable reputation as a force to be reckoned with.
And as if that wasn't enough drama, he even attempted to revive Radio Atlantis again, didn't he? In 1980.
He did, after all that.
Yep. This time, he envisioned it as a free radio station broadcasting from Maldegem, his hometown. The aim was to reach a significant chunk of both West and East Flanders.
Go at it.
Another ambitious attempt to bring his brand of independent radio back to the airwaves. However, this venture, too, was pretty short-lived.
Oh, shut down again.
Yeah. The PTT, which was Belgium's postal and telecommunications agency back then, swiftly moved in and took the transmitter off the air after only a few weeks of operation.
Authorities weren't messing around?
Clearly not. It was obvious they were still vigilant and determined to deny him any space for unauthorized broadcasts, especially given his past history. But, as we're about to discover, Adriaan Van Landschoot was not a man to be easily deterred or discouraged by setbacks.
No, seems not.
His unwavering passion for music, his fighting spirit, it simply found new and equally impactful avenues for expression. He was, you could say, a force of nature that simply could not be contained.
So what does this all mean for Adriaan Van Landschoot's journey at this point?
Well, it means that his deep-seated passion for music, and particularly for championing artists from his home country, it didn't just evaporate when Radio Atlantis died.
No, it just changed form.
Exactly. It merely shifted its focus, its mode of expression. Even after the abrupt end of that high-stakes offshore radio adventure, Van Landschoot remained an incredibly fierce, incredibly vocal advocate for Flemish music. He was, quite simply, unstoppable in his dedication to the local scene.
What's truly fascinating here is his unwavering willingness to engage in these highly visible, almost theatrical stunts to drive his point home, to demand attention for Flemish artists.
Like the TV studio incident.
Exactly. In 1991, years after Atlantis was shut down, he famously stormed the BRT television studio, live, during a broadcast of Het Journal, the main national news program.
Unbelievable. What did he do?
With astonishing boldness, he unrolled this large banner directly behind the unsuspecting news anchor, Bavo Clays, and the banner read, "Vlaams in the top 30, Flemish in the top 30.
Wow. Talk about making a statement.
It was a direct, unmistakable, utterly public protest against what he saw as the Belgian public broadcasters' insufficient attention to local Flemish artists. He wanted to make a statement, and boy, did he make it in a way that literally no one could ignore.
Injecting himself right into the national news.
Right into the national discourse in the most audacious way possible. And apparently, he even once climbed the BRT tower itself for the very same cause.
Climb the tower? Seriously?
Yeah, that's what the sources say. This kind of public, almost performance art protest It vividly highlights that rebel side of his personality and his unshakable dedication to promoting homegrown talent.
He'd use any means necessary.
Any means necessary to get his message across. It showed his fight for Flemish music was far, far from over.
Those stunts are absolutely legendary, and they really underscore just how passionately he felt about the cause. But he wasn't just an activist, was he? He was also an incredibly successful producer and manager.
Oh, yeah, launched countless vedettes, as they say, stars.
He genuinely developed this uncanny nose for what the Flemish public wanted to hear, an almost intuitive understanding of the popular zeitgeist.
Knew what would sell.
Knew what would connect. He discovered and meticulously guided artists like Petra, who later gained fame as La Sacra. He propelled her right to the top of every hit parade in 1989 with her smash hit, La Chigan.
Big hit. I remember that one.
It was a testament to his ability not just to spot raw talent, but then to expertly craft their sound and image for maximum impact.
But his foresight didn't stop there, did it? He got into the boy band thing, too.
He did. He was one of the earliest adopters to jump onto that burgeoning phenomenon of boy bands with groups like Good Shape.
Good Shape, yeah. Koen de Beer was involved there.
Yeah, Koen de Beer from Eeklo was the musical mastermind, meticulously crafting their sound. And another group, Enzo, featuring Philip de Hayes, he launched these commercial pop tunes and just scoured Flanders in the 1990s, taking these groups to every festival, every dance hall imaginable.
Working the circuit hard.
Relentlessly. And the results? Utterly astonishing. Collectively, with another group, the Dream Lovers, his artists sold an astounding 5 million records.
5 million in the Flemish market.
5 million. It's an almost unbelievable number in the Flemish music scene, and it stands as undeniable proof of his commercial insight, his deep understanding of popular taste, and his remarkable ability to not only recognize, but also meticulously develop and market talent.
He wasn't just producing music, he was building pop empires.
Exactly. Building pop empires.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it becomes pretty evident that Adriaan's vision stretched far beyond just the borders of Flanders. He seems to have harbored this deep-seated dream of international recognition for his artists, for his country.
Yeah, Eurovision comes to mind.
Absolutely. His highly successful involvement with the Eurovision Song Contest stands as powerful testament to this ambition. And it's quite charming, actually, to learn that from a young age, apparently even as an 8-year-old, he already wanted something to do with the Eurovision Song Contest.
A childhood dream.
A childhood dream. And years later, he'd indeed made that dream a reality. Not just once, but twice.
Okay, tell us about the Eurovision entries.
Well, in 1977, he sent Dream Express to the contest in London. They achieved a very respectable 7th place with their memorable entry, 1,000,001, 2, 3.
7th place, pretty good.
Very good for Belgium at the time.
Yep.
Then, 5 years later, in 1982, he sent Stella, she was one of the sisters from Dream Express, performing solo to Harrogate in England.
Stella, right. How did she do?
She secured an even more impressive 4th place with her song Si tu aimes ma musique.
4th. That's huge for Belgium.
Huge. These placements represented Belgium's highest achievements at Eurovision, only surpassed by Sander Kim's win in 1986. And remarkably, they remain unmatched by any Belgian entry since then.
Wow. That really underscores his strategic prowess, doesn't it? Identifying talent and presenting it effectively on the world stage.
Absolutely. And there's a classic anecdote that perfectly illustrates his exceptional flair for promotion and hospitality. It shows how he thought way beyond just the music itself.
Oh.
When Stella was competing in Harrogate, Adriaan, apparently far in advance, rented this centrally located house, a house with no less than 10 bedrooms, for the entire duration of the festival.
10 bedrooms just for Eurovision week.
Yep. And he shrewdly christened this rented abode Stella House. It became this veritable hub, apparently with Stella beer flowing day and night.
Stella House serving Stella beer. Genius.
Genius. There's a constant stream of visitors naturally. The entire press corps, friends, supporters. It created this incredible, continuous buzz around Stella and the Belgian delegation. He effectively turned a temporary residence into a full-blown promotional headquarters.
Brilliant move. Constant attention.
It was brilliant. A brilliant move to attract attention to his artists, extending far beyond their musical performance itself. It just vividly showcases his ability to craft an immersive, holistic experience that transcended mere sound, demonstrates his genius for sustained, memorable promotion.
Those instincts for promotion, for innovation, they just kept driving him, didn't they? And in his later life, his musical entrepreneurship took another surprising and remarkably successful turn.
Yeah, the classical stuff, ADYA.
Exactly. In his more mature years, he transitioned into classical music. But crucially, he didn't approach it in a traditional purist sense at all.
No. How did he approach it?
Instead, he boldly infused it with a pop sound, a modern beat. In doing so, he managed to transform these classical compositions into an easy listening genre. He made it accessible, appealing, and ultimately widely beloved by a mass audience.
Interesting pivot.
This ambitious project, known as ADYA Classic, featuring the Adriaan Van Landschoot Orchestra, garnered millions in sales. And not just within Belgium, but extending far into international markets like Germany, Austria, Switzerland. It was unexpected, perhaps, but incredibly fruitful.
The sales figures for ADYA Classic are pretty astonishing, aren't they? They speak volumes about his global impact.
Absolutely staggering. Over a 15-year period, he produced 25 albums.
25 albums.
A staggering 24 of those reached the top 10 on the charts. 7 became #1 hits, 7 achieved gold status, and an incredible 4 earned platinum certification.
Wow. Platinum with classical crossover.
Platinum. And these albums were distributed and released in over 60 countries worldwide. That's a truly global reach that very few producers in the music industry ever managed to achieve.
That's incredible market penetration.
He concluded his professional music production career with the digital release of his final ADYA single, aptly titled Testament, on October 30th, 2020. It marked the capstone of a long, incredibly diverse, and immensely successful career in music production. It just demonstrated his enduring ability to identify and cultivate new markets, even in what you might think are established, maybe even stuffy genres.
This specific success with ADYA Classic, it really raises a critically important question, doesn't it?
Yep.
How many producers have so successfully, so seamlessly bridged that gap between classical and popular music to such an extent, and achieved such widespread commercial and critical acclaim?
Very few, I imagine.
Very few. The ADYA Classic project is, I think, a perfect embodiment of his remarkable versatility. His profound understanding of market dynamics, even in seemingly niche genres. This wasn't some one-off gimmick. It was a fully fledged new musical direction that he embraced with his characteristic drive and just propelled to the very top of the charts.
He dared to innovate.
He dared to innovate, experiment with genres that on the surface might seem completely incompatible. Yet he proved that with the right approach, with an ear for what the public desired, a vast audience could be reached. This truly showcases his relentless drive to push boundaries, to continually create new opportunities, even in what might appear to be a saturated or unchanging market. He was like a true musical alchemist, wasn't he? Transforming the familiar into something fresh and universally appealing.
Beyond his impressive business and musical ventures, Adriaan Van Landschoot was also known for his, let's say, distinctive personal lifestyle and some memorable public appearances.
Like the house, the White House.
Exactly. He became quite famous for his residence in Attigum, which bore this uncanny resemblance to the White House in America. It was an architectural replica, apparently complete with imposing pillars, a stately driveway. It made it a very recognizable landmark in the region.
Quite a statement piece.
Definitely. He eventually sold this iconic home, though, chose to relocate to the picturesque banks of the Ley River in St. Martin's Laydom, and then later to an apartment in Hamghent. That's where he spent his later years, enjoying a well-deserved, if perhaps somewhat quieter, period of his life.
The White House residence, though, whether it was intentionally designed as such or not, it really served as a potent symbol, didn't it? A symbol of his ambition, his undeniable success.
Made his home a public statement.
Exactly. A visible anchor point that visually affirmed his status as that wonder boy, that highly successful entrepreneur. It was like an external manifestation of his inner drive to think big, to leave his mark, not just on the entertainment industry, but also on his immediate living environment.
A monument to his achievements.
Quietly asserting his influence and aspiration, even in his personal space.
And his drive to shape his environment. It extended far beyond just his home. In a lesser-known, perhaps, but certainly no less ambitious adventure, Adriaan Van Landschoot also dipped his toes into local politics.
Politics, too. Wow, he really did wear many hats.
He really did. Remarkably, back in 1970, he even secured an absolute majority with his own political party in the then independent municipality of Attigum.
His own party, and won.
Won an absolute majority. Quite astonishing, considering all his other demanding business and musical pursuits at the time. Then, 6 years later, in 1976, Adagem was slated to merge with Maldegem and Middelburg. So he formed the GVP, the Gemeentelijk Volkspartij, Municipal People's Party. He did this in collaboration with several other prominent local figures, including the then-serving mayor, de Moit, showcasing his ability to rally influential people.
Okay, so he was a player in local politics. How did that election go?
The elections that followed, our sources describe them as a heroic struggle, characterized as both bitter and money-consuming. The ambitions were openly very high. The GVP clearly aimed to secure the mayoral position and reshape the newly merged municipality with a more progressive identity.
High stakes.
Very high stakes. The outcome of the election was nail-bitingly close, and ultimately it was a narrow loss for Van Landschoot's party.
So close.
Out of 27 available seats, his GVP won 11. The main rival, the CVP, Christian Democratic Party, secured 13. A smaller United Party won 3 seats, and they quickly aligned with the CVP to form the majority, effectively sidelining Van Landschoot's ambitions.
Politics can be brutal.
Indeed. Despite the overall loss, though, there was a personal consolation for Adriaan. With an impressive 1,660 votes, he emerged as the second most popular politician personally, after the CVP leader, Rotsart, who got 2,451 votes.
So still very popular himself.
An undeniable testament to his personal appeal and strong local support, even in a losing battle. And showing the long-term impact, perhaps, his son, Jason Van Landschoot, went on to become an alderman for public works some 40 years later, continuing the family's legacy of local engagement.
If we connect this political foray to the bigger picture, it becomes evident that his ventures into local politics were just another manifestation, weren't they? Another very direct manifestation of his profound desire to shape his environment, to fight for what he believed in.
Right, like the music protests, but in a different arena.
Exactly. Much like his dramatic public protests for Flemish music on BRT. His political engagement demonstrated his deep civic involvement, his unwavering will to exert influence on a local level. It reveals this multifaceted individual who wasn't just driven by profit, but also by a genuine desire to make a tangible impact on his community. He was prepared to engage in intense, costly political battles to achieve his vision for his hometown. It was, in essence, an extension of his rebel mentality into a new, more overtly political domain, showcasing his comprehensive approach to making a difference wherever he saw the need.
And in addition to his political ambitions and that iconic residence, Adriaan Van Landschoot engaged in numerous other interesting stunts and ventures that further underscore his multifaceted character and his, well, innate flair for promotion.
Like what else?
For instance, he once even released his own single, under the rather enigmatic stage name Ad Rolls.
Ad Rolls. Seriously, was it any good?
Haha, the sources don't elaborate on its quality, but it clearly shows his continuous personal engagement with music, even in a more direct artistic capacity, proving he wasn't just a behind-the-scenes force.
Rube still wanted to be creative himself.
And then, in 2016, many years later, well into his seasoned years, he managed to secure an incredibly lucrative contract with the prestigious French fashion house, Chanel.
Chanel. How did that happen?
His up-tempo song, "Ça Va," was chosen to be used as background music in Chanel stores worldwide.
Wow. Just like that.
Well, the story goes that this was reportedly at the express insistence of none other than Karl Lagerfeld himself, the legendary creative director.
Lagerfeld wanted his song. Incredible.
Incredible. This particular anecdote serves as remarkable proof of his international reach and the unexpected success he could achieve in entirely different, seemingly unrelated sectors. It just paints a picture of a man whose influence stretched far beyond the music world, touching global fashion, always finding new avenues for his creative and commercial energy.
These anecdotes collectively, they really underscore his truly versatile talents, don't they? His extraordinary ability to seize opportunities in the most unexpected places.
Yeah, definitely.
From releasing his own somewhat obscure single as Ad Rolls to successfully striking a deal with a global fashion empire like Chanel, it vividly illustrates the breadth of his network and how adeptly he could apply his innate flair for promotion and commerce across diverse, seemingly unconnected sectors.
His energy was boundless.
It seems so. It's clear that his creative and business energy was never confined to a single domain. He was perpetually on the lookout for new challenges and consistently managed to tap into the right people, the right possibilities, proving his mastery as a multi-industry impresario. He genuinely seemed to believe that if you had a vision and the drive, the opportunities were basically endless.
All these remarkable successes, though, spanning from textiles to pirate radio, From groundbreaking music production to Eurovision glory, even that unexpected dip into high fashion, he ultimately attributed it all to one crucial, foundational element in his life.
And that was the woman behind him.
His wife, Jeanine.
Ah, Jeanine again, the ship's namesake.
Exactly. He didn't just acknowledge her support privately, he publicly honored her by naming his pirate ship the MV Jeanine after her. That act was a profound and public testament to his appreciation, his recognition of her unwavering support throughout his wild, often incredibly risky endeavors.
That's a powerful partnership.
It seems so. This profound connection to his wife and his experiences led him to articulate one of his most fundamental life philosophies. He firmly believed that money was a bad motivation.
Money is a bad motivation. Interesting. What did he think was the motivation?
For Adriaan, the true drivers of success were instead drive, that unyielding internal urge to create and achieve, the spirit of wanting to go for it together, fostering collaboration, shared ambition, and crucially, daring to take risks.
Drive, teamwork, risk-taking.
That wasn't just a casual belief for him. It seems it was the bedrock of his entrepreneurial spirit, shaping every decision, guiding him through every challenge.
This philosophy, it offers a truly crucial and deeply insightful glimpse into his unique character, doesn't it?
It really does.
It provides the fundamental explanation for his unparalleled resilience, his relentless pursuit of new projects, even in the face of significant setbacks like the dramatic end of Radio Atlantis or those substantial financial and legal consequences that followed. It's a powerful and, I think, timeless lesson for any aspiring entrepreneur or creative individual that intrinsic motivation, that pure, unadulterated drive, coupled with the courage to innovate and take calculated risks, it often proves to be far more important, far more sustainable than just the sole pursuit of financial gain.
Passion over profit, in a way.
Exactly. His enduring success was deeply rooted in this profound passion and an unshakable belief in his vision. Consistently fortified, it seems, by the unwavering support of his wife. This powerful combination enabled him to repeatedly reinvent himself, start anew, and ultimately leave his indelible mark across such a diverse array of industries.
And then we arrive at the more recent and undeniably somber details of his life.
Yes. The end was quite tragic.
It was. In February 2025, Adriaan Van Landschoot publicly announced that he was suffering from Parkinson's disease, a diagnosis that he openly admitted he found incredibly difficult to cope with.
Which must have been devastating for someone so dynamic.
A profound struggle, yes, for a man who had always been so energetic, so in control. Tragically, on April 21st, 2025, precisely on what would have been his 77th birthday, his body was discovered in the water in Ghent.
Oh, on his birthday. That's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. The Oost-Vlaanderen Public Prosecutor's Office subsequently released a statement confirming that it was a case of suicide. His son, Jason, expressed profound grief, stating that they were supposed to be celebrating his 77th birthday that very day.
It's just awful.
His funeral was held on April 30th, 2025 in Maldegem. It's a truly tragic and heart-wrenching end for a man whose life had been so vibrantly full of energy, audacity, and that relentless drive we've been talking about.
This tragic conclusion to his life, it really raises an important, deeply human question, doesn't it? How do we as observers grapple with the inherent complexity of a human life, especially when it ends on such a somber note?
Yeah, it's difficult.
Our sources describe him in so many powerful ways. Successful music producer, businessman, rebel, a musical father figure, strategic manager. He was a man who seemingly could handle anything, stamping his influence on every venture he touched.
The Wonder Boy.
Exactly. Yet his very personal struggle with Parkinson's and the ultimate tragic outcome. It serves as such a poignant reminder that even the most outwardly successful, the most seemingly indomitable figures face immense personal battles, often hidden from public view.
We never really know what's going on behind the scenes.
Exactly. It's a sobering and indispensable aspect of his story that we absolutely must acknowledge. It adds a crucial, raw, deeply human layer to the dazzling and impactful career he forged. It illustrates that behind every public persona, there's a profound individual journey with its own unique challenges and vulnerabilities.
Despite that profoundly sad note at the end, though, Adriaan Van Landschoot leaves behind an incredibly rich and enduring legacy. Musically, entrepreneurially.
Absolutely, a huge legacy.
His tireless dedication to Flemish music, his truly innovative productions, his daring business ventures, they had a lasting and undeniable impact on the music scene in Belgium, and really far beyond its borders. He was widely recognized, as we've said, as a highly successful music producer, a sharp and intuitive businessman, an irrepressible rebel, a nurturing musical father figure to many artists, and a shrewd manager.
All those hats?
All those hats. And perhaps what makes his life story even more intriguing is that despite his enormous impact, he consistently preferred to operate behind the scenes, shunning the spotlight for himself.
Yeah, the architect, not the star.
As our sources compellingly state, his story was truly world news in the Benelux back in the day, captivating a generation and shaping an entire industry.
He was, in every sense of the word, an unwearying architect of Flemish music, an individual who consistently defied conventions, whether that meant launching illegal radio broadcasts from international waters or orchestrating those audacious, attention-grabbing publicity stunts.
Never followed the rules.
His life stands as a powerful demonstration of the undeniable force of ambition, the critical willingness to embrace calculated risks, and an unshakable dedication to a clear, compelling vision. He wasn't simply a man who followed trends. He was a master at creating them, or at least ingeniously manipulating them to serve his own, often rebellious purposes.
Yeah.
His legacy is far more than just an impressive list of successes. It's really a profound blueprint for how one can, with the right combination of drive, passion, and daring, influence, and even transform an entire industry and cultural landscape.
So what does this all mean for you, listening in?
Well, I think it means that boundaries are often self-imposed, and that a single-minded vision coupled with audacious daring and unwavering perseverance can achieve truly extraordinary things. From the son of a barrel cooper, he rose to become a textile magnate, a pioneering pirate radio broadcaster who captivated millions, a Eurovision hitmaker putting Belgium on the global music map, and a classical music innovator who effortlessly bridged genres. Adriaan Van Landschoot's journey is, well, truly unique and deeply inspiring. Adriaan Van Landschoot's story serves as such a potent reminder, doesn't it? That true influence often doesn't come from relentlessly seeking the spotlight, but rather from the unyielding pursuit of one's deep-seated passion, even if that means daring to challenge the existing rules and conventions.
Yeah.
His life was a powerful testament to that idea that the forbidden pirates were extra attractive. And this raises an important question, I think, for all of us. What does that enduring appeal of the unconventional say about our own fundamental desire for authenticity, for breaking free from the expected, for those who dare to forge their own path?
That's a great question.
And what other hidden figures are out there right now, quietly shaping industries or cultures, whose incredible stories we might overlook precisely because they operated so effectively and often so invisibly behind the scenes?
Indeed. Take a moment, maybe, to reflect on Adriaan's profound philosophy prioritizing drive over mere money, and consider the immense, often underestimated, significance of having a truly supportive partner in realizing your wildest dreams. What powerful insights will you take away from this deep dive? Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey today.